Just start right away with Packers Lions last night. I missed a lot of this game until kind of the second half. As you know, had a lot going on yesterday, but definitely caught the end. Um, it was interesting. I think there was a lot to take away. I kind of want to start with the injury riddled Lions defense. Is that much of a concern to you? Do you think obviously coaching is helping a lot on that side of the ball? Do you think it's sustainable? Do you think they're going to be able to still win the division and be favorites in the NFC for the long term?
Um, I will say that the defense looked pretty good in the first half. I think they were getting to Jordan Love a lot, and they were kind of limiting the passing game. I think he only had seven pass attempts in the first half or something like that. Like it was pretty low. I mean, granted they were running pretty well with Josh Jacobs, and I think they scored on their like last drive of the half, minus the knee that they took out.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I don't know if it's necessarily sustainable. I like Aaron Glenn as a coordinator, but a lot of the guys that were playing yesterday were like guys they just picked up. I know the Aleem McNeil guy, he's like the kind of the centerpiece of their defensive line, and he was out for I think the second half of the game with like a head injury, and so they just keep losing guys.
Yeah.
I guess luckily their secondary, which is kind of their weaker point with the corners, they were healthy as well as the safeties, Joseph and Branch. But I don't know. After seeing that,
Branch got a
I
little
don't know if
banged
they're
up at
necessary.
the end, I think.
Who?
Did Branch get?
Branch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
he
yeah. Branch got.
stayed in, but it's still notable. I don't did he come back in?
I want to say he finished the game.
Okay.
I think, but
Yeah.
yeah, I if they match up with Philly in any part of I don't know any part of the playoffs, I think AJ Brown is way too big of a matchup for Arnold or for whomever that or Carlton Davis. And I I don't know necessarily if that defensive line has the juice without Hutchinson and without some of the other guys. I don't know how hurt McNeil is, but I'm assuming he's going to be okay for next week. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed that to what I would say. Again, I missed the first half, but I was kind of following. And the Packers were not doing much. It looked very ugly early on. They got the touchdown before half. I believe, yeah, they got the touchdown before half. That was huge for them. But I mean, they did not do a lot at all. And so I think it's a tale of two halves, right? They were definitely able to move the ball in the second half. To me, it felt um, like they were getting to Jordan Love, even with the guys injured up front. But I mean, there were a couple throws where it was just like they just did not have the secondary capability to keep up with the Green Bay receivers, even without Dobbs playing. Um, I'm just looking at the box score. Yeah, Christian Watson had a couple huge plays in the second half. There was one. Um, yeah, Wicks had a couple of really big catches. I mean, I think if I was to outlook kind of on to how the playoffs are going to go, like I lean Detroit over Philly in terms of like just who I think is more likely. But if they were to match up, I don't know how the Lions are stopping the Lions are stopping Philly's offense. Like especially with just how they play, like the boa constrictor kind of offense that they have, where they're able to just wear teams down in the second half and Saquon gets like that 70-yard touchdown. You're like, well, what are you going to do? I mean, I feel like he's done that like every week, the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I think my takeaways overall were I think this could be the NFC Championship. I think the Packers are legit. They did that without Dobbs. They still had 300 yards. One bad turnover, by the way, that I think we got to talk about the Christian Watson fumble. Like that was so. I mean, that was so dumb. That was so dumb. I mean that, and they lost by three with that turnover. Like that's one where it's like it's not a pick. It's not like a running back fumble early in the backfield. Like on a handoff exchange. That was literally like you're what 30 something yards down the field, and then you drop the ball. Like that's just brutal. That's brutal. So that could be an NFC Championship preview. I like both these teams a lot. Um, I hope we get that matchup again in the playoffs. I know the Lions have obviously played the Packers twice, so we're not going to get that in the regular season again, but we'll see. Um, Jordan Love, yeah, made a couple throws that were off balance, pressure right there that I saw in the second half, where I think he's getting back into his rhythm that he was in last year. Early to start this year, it was just a lot of picks, a lot of turnovers. So we'll see. I think it's a great matchup to watch. NFC North games are like pretty much elite right now. Like they're
Yeah.
just they're the best games to watch. Vikings Bears the other day. We had the Vikings Lions, game winning field goal game. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top in that division. But yeah, we're gonna move to